So this is Piggy, the three-legged superhero dog, and we found him on a high-volume veterinary campaign to the Dominican Republic 8 years ago. And we went to a region that had no veterinary care, and so he was carried into our clinic by locals who said that they saw him get hit by a bus a month before, but there was no veterinary care in that area, so they had no choice except to watch him deteriorate over time. So by the time we got to him, he was almost dead. So we actually named him Piggy because by that point he was so sick he had no hair. He looked like a hairless piglet. But we gave him emergency surgery, and they said once we leave there's no veterinary care, so someone has to take him back if he has a chance to survive. And I said, I will. And so we brought him back, and he made this amazing recovery, and now he's like this giant fluffy beast. And he's the most mellow guy ever, as you can see. And he visits schools and hospitals for special needs kids, and they relate to him really well because, you know, he has a very visual disability. But he inspired us to think what happens to these amazing, beings when we're not there. So he inspired us to start Darwin Animal Doctors, where we start free veterinary training and humane education around the world where they don't have any access to these things. And something amazing happened in a lot of these places, which is that a lot of people that, outsiders said were pretty rotten people, that a lot of these locals that we were, communities in poor areas we were serving, people said, oh, they don't care about animals, they throw rocks at dogs, the kids just they'll never get into humane education. But the truth was, when we just gave them a choice and said hey, this is how you treat an animal because this is, they are just like us and they have the same expressions and they have the same aspirations. These kids actually came up with their own humane education groups after they went through our programs and started teaching adults why and how they can take care of animals so that everyone can have a future. And so basically we realized that so DAD gives a lot of free veterinary care and veterinary training around the world, but the thing that makes so much long-term difference is giving them something to aspire to and giving them the option to say, you can take control of your future and you can give everybody a chance. And these people will want to get the resources to do what it takes to save everybody and be a leader. And so that's why we advocate humane education, and these guys are our best spokespeople there possibly are, because humans and dogs have evolved together for so long. So he is a hero in real life and in our comic book, A Piggy's Tale, that we use to teach humane education. And so we teach that he's a three-legged dog, that he is here in New York City. He's an immigrant story, and he's an animal with a disability, and being different is okay, being from far away is okay, and he inspires a lot of people to do the right thing all the time. So animals can really help us find the best in ourselves, and so we have to celebrate the fact that not only is it the right thing to save them, but we have to acknowledge that they're saving us all the time. So if anyone has questions about humane education, I'd love to answer them. If anyone wants to come up and say hello to the dog, that's okay too. But yeah, and I see some people starting to inch their way forward. So yeah, go ahead, and we would love to know more about if you want to know more about how you can bring Piggy to your school, or how to bring humane education to your school, we'd love to talk about all of that. Yeah. Thank you guys. Any questions? Yeah. Usually when I say any questions, people say can you shut up so we can come up to the stage and pet your dog?
Yeah, I just want to say my name's Eddie Sullivan.
The question is, can he walk? He actually walks very well, and he walks for miles, but we have a harness on him to help him walk further and better. And another question was, does he have a prosthetic? And the answer is that he was amputated in a developing country where there's a lot less resources, so they cut it a lot higher to be safe there. And so prosthetics companies, we've been to about 3 of them so far, and they don't know how to attach it effectively when he's cut so high. But as it is, he runs so far and fast on 3 legs anyway. Piggy is 8 years old, and he's actually a vegan dog, so he looks a lot younger to most people. So he has a very youthful lifestyle. He was rescued in 2009 as a puppy. He was a few months old. Yeah. So he's a New Yorker dog for life. So another question is how to get more humane education in the schools here. And so obviously it's very troublesome or problematic if you bring in a program where you're telling kids to judge what their parents are feeding them at home, or to judge, like, what they've been taught is good to eat, or how to treat others and stuff. So we bring humane education in the form of systems thinking, where they basically are taught how one thing affects another and how everything is connected, and the kids will draw their own conclusions. And we also teach them how to research, which is often more important than just doing the initial research to come to a conclusion. So once again, they can come to their own correct conclusions, and also that will help them understand how to think and how to research, which is a much more important skill ultimately. So we are actually at the table down over there with the black tablecloth, and you'll see it because you'll see a cartoon version of him on the table, and you'll also see him sitting in front of it looking at you on his back asking you for a belly rub. Oh yeah, he loves to be touched. He loves children. That's why we started getting him trained in the first place, because as a puppy, whenever he sees a crowd of children in like the sidewalk or something, he would run into the middle of them and sit down and then wait for everyone to pet him. Yeah. There's a lot of bioengineering happening now in the field of prosthetics, which is actually pretty amazing because a lot more people are starting to put more attention on animal prosthetics and animal bioengineering, which hasn't really happened before. So there's a lot more technology available now to help out your animals, which there wasn't before. All right, guys, thank you so much.